Welcome to episode 227 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Walton. As always, I'm joined by Dan Reamer.
Except for last week.
Well,
as always, except for last week.
I think that's a given. As always is, you're always here in mind and spirit.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Not physically always here, though.
Yeah, I had to do hang out with the mom's stuff thing last week. So,
and Matt is actually doing that this week. So he's not here. We're back to two again. Different two, different set, different duo. He's fulfilling his son duties this week.
Because he's a good person.
Right.
Boy, that hurt to say.
You kind of choked up a little bit on it. I wasn't sure if you were going to get it out.
I was afraid I might die.
Ooh.
By saying it.
So, we haven't heard from you in a couple of weeks. You played anything besides Mass Effect? That's a no.
I got in some Rocket League the other night with you guys.
Yeah. We played some Rocket League. And I'll say that you played better than I expected for as long as it had been.
Yeah, I did. I will say that I played better than expected, considering it had been as long as it had been. I was pleasantly surprised to get back into that and be formidable somewhat, as opposed to just this stupid car driving around.
Yeah, I thought you did pretty well. And Rocket League's a tough game to come back to after taking a lot of time off.
I've been off. I think it was the second time I played since Mass Effect came out, as a matter of fact.
I think that's right, too.
And
last time you didn't play very long.
Right. So, yeah, I was pleasantly surprised that I was able to hang.
I am, I can't stop playing Zelda.
Still?
I finished the story, or if you call it that, whatever. I finished the main line, and I just keep getting in there. Like I don't even have a purpose anymore. I keep telling myself I'm going to get all 120 shrines. I've got half of them, but when I get in there, I just get distracted and I end up wandering around doing nothing. Last night I played for like 2 hours, and all I did was just kill things.
Here's the important thing to remember about you need to have some self-awareness here. You are the person who constantly says, I want to do this and this, I want to do this in this game, and then you don't.
No, so everything I've said as a goal so far I've done, but then I just quit playing it. Or I quit setting goals, and now I just get in there and do nothing. I almost play it like Grand Theft Auto in the forest. Like where I just wander around and see what happens. I don't even care what happens because it's fun no matter what. I wanted to have 100 hours in it when I beat it. I did that. I clicked over that 100-hour mark, beat Ganon. That fight was actually pretty simple. It's probably because I'd played. Yeah, probably because I'd played 100 hours.
Probably.
I also had all four of the Guardians, so that makes life easier. You can do it without them, but
because actually, can't you as soon as the game starts up, if you want to, can't you go fight Ganon?
Yeah, more or less. You can ride straight there. It'd be pretty tough to get to where he's at without doing any of this stuff, just because you're kind of low on stamina when it comes to climbing and stuff like that, and he's in the castle. So I'm sure if you're creative enough, you can get up there to him. I can't imagine you could beat him without anything. That's why I think the speed runs are like 90 minutes or something like that.
Yeah.
Because they're doing a couple things before they go after him. But yeah, you could beat it. So after you beat it, it just spits you back out into the world. And that's where I thought I would either get the shrines or be done. But now I'm just wandering around.
Yeah, I've started doing that a little bit in Mass Effect, where for a long time I was just playing the multiplayer. And I still am, don't get me wrong. But I've started going back to my old character, even before starting a new game plus. I've gone back to my old character and just kind of wandering around the different planets and stuff. And, new quests are still popping up. So
I have a ton of side quests I haven't done yet. And I see new stuff that I haven't seen before every single night.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit, where did this come from? I walked through 100 times and never seen this. So, I don't know. That game's just... it's almost part of my routine. Like, at night, I play Zelda for at least an hour. Even before I jump on and play PS4, like, I always play Zelda. And I just don't see that going away right now. I'm
has
still just having...
has a calming effect on you.
Kinda. It's kind of just... I unwind. I play that before I end up getting into PS4. I think only one night have I played it after. But I usually get into it and just live in that world for a little bit and then jump on the PS4 and get pissed off at people playing Rocket League. So it's a nice mixture. I also started Disgaea 5 Complete on the Switch. Full disclosure, that was provided by NIS America to us for...
And that is a RPG tactics game, right?
It is a tactical RPG.
Okay.
And if you know anything about me, you know that's not what I love.
True. That's not what you love.
It's a tactical JRPG.
Even better.
Right, the J's working against me, the tactical's working against me. I like a traditional RPG sometimes.
Not often.
So even that's a coin flip.
Not often.
So I jump in this. This is a game that's been out for a couple years. The complete edition, obviously, is a little different. But when we're talking about Disgaea 5, it's been out for a couple years. I think it came out in October 2015, something like that. I roughly knew what to expect. I've seen videos of Disgaea. Never played one. I get in. It's everything I expected it to be in the worst way possible. Now, stick with me. Stick with me. It's not where I'm coming.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's not where I'm going to finish this. I was bored. I didn't understand how to play it. There was so much dialogue that I was trying to soak in. I wanted to listen to everything. And I was having just an absolute miserable time playing this game. I couldn't figure out the right way to go about anything. I had to reset my brain and say, just play it like a tactics game and don't worry about anything else. And when you treat it like almost like a game of chess, I started to really enjoy myself. There's a hub world that's kind of neat. You can run around and do all the stuff in. I'm sure everyone's familiar with it that plays those type of games. But then the battles there's enemies strategically placed throughout the map, and you have to get your characters over to them and decide who goes where. And when you started treating it like that, almost like a game of chess, I started to really enjoy myself to the point where I'm like, I think I'm going to play this game a little more. I'm not going to beat it. I'm not going to finish it. I'm probably not going to sink 100 hours into it. But I could see myself playing 20, 30 hours of this game. Just because I do like that aspect of trying to... I mean, it's almost a puzzle game at that point.
Right.
Trying to outsmart. Like, I made a decision last night that was clearly wrong, and it bit me in the ass. I was still able to win, but I immediately thought I'd like to do that again the right way just to see how much different it would have gone.
Did you know what was wrong as soon as you made the move?
Oh, as soon as I did it. As soon as I did it.
That's the worst. Because
you can throw your the people in your party. You can throw them.
Okay.
So there was a couple bad bros up on a cliff. So I took my main guy out as far as I could go, and then I took my other two over there, and I threw one of them up top. And as soon as I threw her up there, I was like, I can't get anybody else up there this move. Right. So it's just... So now she's by herself against two enemies. I've left her totally hanging because I moved one guy out too far to get him back. So I tossed her up there, and this also shows you how good I am at these games. The girl that I tossed up there is my healer.
Oh yeah, good job.
So her attack is fucking weak, and I need her to heal the party. So she does like 12 damage on these bros, and then immediately gets just
slaughtered,
demolished. Yeah. So then it's just I had to go at it a different way, and I still ended up winning that battle, but it's clearly I did it the wrong way. But it was still pretty neat to, because I wanted to go back and do it again. The art style is cool. It's neat. The characters are very Japanese, very neat. I see why people really get into it. It's still not my, that's not my style of game.
Uh-huh.
I totally see how people can accidentally spend 300 hours on a game like this, though, because there's so many different ways to play it. And I'm sure once you develop a strategy, you start knowing how you want to treat these as soon as you pop in a map. And I'm sure they get crazy complex. I'm still in the beginning. So for me, you pretty much can look at them and know how you want to solve it. But I'll say I'm in a good place with that game. I'm pleasantly surprised that I was able to enjoy myself with that game. And I've seen the side-by-side comparisons. It doesn't look like the PS4 version. but it's running pretty damn good on the Switch. No slowdown, no chug. I mean, it's...
Oh, that's good. So it's
a good version of that game.
Well, that's good.
And I think if you want to play that game, I think a Switch is a great place because that game is something that, since I started playing it, I found myself jumping into it and playing it for 20 minutes and then jumping out of it, and it's fucking perfect for the Switch. That's how I would want to... If I was going to play this game, that's the way I want to play it. Because, I mean, you know as well as I do, to turn your PS4 on for 5 or 10 minutes isn't worth it. It's too much of a process if you're going to do that. And this goes much quicker. So, I actually am pleasantly surprised with that. Matt's playing it also. I think Matt feeling the same kind of way based off our conversations, and that he wasn't expecting to like it, but he's been kind of surprised by it also. So, I may have some more Disgaea talk coming up in the future. Who knows? Maybe I'll be a fanboy and get the shirts and go all in. Who knows?
Maybe.
You never know.
You probably won't, but maybe.
I thought I would only want to play about 10 minutes of this game. And I've probably got 3 or 4 hours. So.
Well, I appreciate that you kind of powered through, because I'm sure for the first 40, 45 minutes you hated it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I
want to be clear. You know how we talk about how you don't want to play a game until it gets good?
Yeah.
That's not what happened here. It was a mindset thing for me in the beginning. That game starts out just like it is right now.
Right. But you
don't have to... Right. I had to change my thinking. But it's not one of those that where you're like, once I get through this bullshit, it gets good. It's not like that at all. It's more like, I tried to play it.
What you're saying is that you had to make a tactical decision.
A tactical role-playing decision to enjoy this. And it's is it not being a genre that I like? I knew that I would probably have to do that. I just didn't know if I was capable of doing that.
Right.
I mean, I don't play games I don't like most of the time. But maybe I'm selling my experiences a little short by not doing that, because I could see where people have a lot of fun with this. And I could see where I'm having fun with this. So, who knows? Maybe I'll check back in with it and chat about it. We do appreciate them providing us a copy, because they have opened my eyes a little bit.
Good.
And you should buy that game on Switch if you're going to buy it. If you have a Switch. Don't buy it on Switch if you don't have it. That'll be weird. But if
you
you
still
have
could,
Switch,
though, and I'm sure Nintendo would appreciate it.
That'd be weird, though. I mean, people are doing that for Zelda.
It would be weird.
They're just popping on Zelda without a Switch. They don't care.
I don't know. I have Advent Rising for the PC.
Yeah, that's weird, too. I understand Zelda more than that one.
Well, you would.
Yeah.
Because you don't understand Advent Rising.
You're not wrong. I also jumped in Little Nightmares. It's been a busy week. I've been playing a lot. I can't remember. Did I talk about Little Nightmares last week?
You had said you bought it.
Okay. I played it.
Because I listened to the podcast, not because I was there.
Right. It's a lot like Unravel, which I talked about for a long time, some months ago, maybe even a year ago at this point, and I really loved Unravel. It feels like that. It plays really well. The mechanics are super simple. It is walk through 3 rooms and then solve a puzzle. Walk through 3 rooms, solve a puzzle. It's all fucking creepy. It all gives you that like
a nightmare?
Yeah, but it's not jump scares.
No, that's not what nightmares are.
It's the fucked up part of like a nightmare. Like no one's coming in to murder you most of the time. It's more like this shit doesn't make any fucking sense.
But you're just walking through this world that you half recognize.
Yeah, I don't even know that I half recognize this place.
No?
It's you could just barely see all the time. So far. Now I've made it into the second stage. It's a little more brightly lit, I should say. The first stage is fucking dark. All you have is like a Zippo. And you have to light it to see what's going on.
Are you a child? Who lets a child play with lighters? Are you a child in this game?
I don't know what you are. I don't know what anything in this game is. I'm not certain that you're a child.
No?
I don't know what you are. You have a raincoat on. Kind of covers your head. There are things your size. And there are things smaller than you. And there are things bigger than you.
What if the whole twist is that you're the monster?
I mean, I'm not doing monster-like things, but I guess I could be.
Well, who's to say what will monsters do?
I mean, I've not hurt anyone.
No, but maybe the monster's trying to escape the little girl's dream.
I mean, maybe. Also,
because he just wants to get away because she's like a really, really bad person. Even the monster can't stand it because she's like a psychopath.
The collector's edition or the pre-order comes with extra toppers. One of them is the upside down teacup. That's the head that I like to use. Because it didn't make any sense at all. It's just like a teacup on somebody's head. It kind of fucks up the whole look, but I like to wear that one. It's a fun game.
Brings a little bit of fun, a joy into the nightmare.
Yeah, I did have to, whenever it first starts, it says make where the eye is barely visible, one of those things. And I did it the right way, where I could barely see it. I had to go back and change it. I couldn't see anything. It was too dark. So I did brighten it up a little bit. I didn't crank it all the way up, but I did brighten it up a little bit from where it said to. But I'm enjoying that game too.
Well, I have wanted to play more this week. Unfortunately, I've been doing a ton of preparations for things.
Right.
I have my wife's 40th birthday party coming up. And it's going to be a huge gathering here at my residence. Right. So I have been preparing for that. As a matter of fact, I've started building a barbecue grill out of cinder block.
Right. It looks good, too. We showed us pictures yesterday.
I showed you pictures yesterday, yes. I may tweet those out just so everyone can see why there are moments when I'm not able to play games or be on the podcast, because sometimes real life happens.
Well, I'm fairly sure next week's update for me is going to not be good. Because yesterday, in a moment of weakness or strength, you can decide, I put in Farming Simulator 2017. I've been holding off playing it because I needed to play a lot of other things first. But I put it in, and now the one thing that might have saved me is it had an update. Several updates, I think. And by the time I waited for those to go through, I was jumping off to watch the Predators game.
Okay.
So I didn't actually play it yet. But now it's front and center on my system when I turn it on.
Yay.
Staring back at me.
Yay.
So my update next week may only be that I played Farming Simulator. And Zelda. Maybe it pulls me away from Zelda. I don't know. Maybe it's what I need. It's on sale right now, too, if you want to get a copy.
Are you talking to me or the listeners?
Everybody.
Because you know damn well I don't want to.
I don't know why. It's great.
Because I don't like simulations or farms.
It's a tactical simulation.
Well, even better. Not for me.
It's I like building an empire in any kind of form. And
I know. You said it's very zen for you to just go out and mow your field, so that's fine.
Some people like to mow grass in like real life because they get that same feeling.
I do too. My new mower, I like mowing the grass.
See, I don't get that zen feeling when I'm really mowing, but I do get it when I'm playing this game.
What kind of mower do you have?
I have a rod mower.
Oh.
It's not a zero turn, but it's a rod mower. I just don't. I constantly think about how I could be in the house.
I used to have to mow 2.5 acres with a push mower when I was a kid, so it's very zen for me to just sit down and do it.
Yeah, I don't. I used to push mow too, but I would almost say that push mowing was more zen than riding for me.
You think so?
Yeah, I just want to get fucking done.
I just put music on or a podcast, and I just...
Yeah, I do that too. I just think about how I could be doing this in the house.
You can't mow the yard from in the house, though.
No, but I could do the things that I'm enjoying about mowing the yard from in the house.
That's true. That part's true.
And I could enjoy it more because there'd be air conditioner in there.
But then your yard would look like shit.
I'll let you in on another fun fact. I don't really even care about that.
But, see, your neighbors do, and the city does. And pretty soon you would have mosquitoes and shit, and everyone would be complaining, and then the authorities would show up. And anything... I mean, I'm a firm believer that anything you can do to keep the authorities away from you, you should do.
It's my little piece of earth. I should be able to treat it however I want.
I understand that. And there's some places where you can. Unfortunately, when you live inside of the city limits, that's not always an option.
That's bullshit.
I agree. I agree.
Bullshit. I pay for this. I would be able to treat it however I want.
Citizens for a sovereign America.
Mm-hmm. If you don't like the snakes that come off my property, you move. Because I don't mind them. You know?
I like them. They all have names.
Mm-hmm.
This one's Chet.
All right. Ralph's the one that bit your dog.
Yeah.
You know, it's not my problem.
You know, Sparky ate your cat. Sorry about that, but Sparky's hungry. He's got to eat.
Right. I don't feed them. They're wild.
Right.
I don't let it get like that, but I also don't feel like I feel like I have to mow, and I don't like that.
I get that part too.
Yeah, that's shitty.
That's what I like about where I live out in the country. I can look at my yard and go, you know what? I really need to mow that. It's starting to look bad. So it becomes more of a choice as opposed to, if I don't mow this, someone's going to show up at my house with a fucking tag telling me to mow my yard.
I don't feel that way, but I do feel like when I come home and both neighbors have mowed their yard, I'm like, fuck.
Well, see, I don't have any neighbors.
Like, can I just get a fucking break, guys?
So that's what's nice. I have a little bit more leeway because I'm surrounded by woods.
Like, do you have to mow every 2 days? Because so my shit.
It's not as big as a tree. It's fine.
And I mow my grass really tall. So even if we all mow on the same day, it looks like I didn't mow.
Right. Maybe you should mow it shorter.
No, I have better looking grass than them.
Oh. Well, yeah, because you always do when you mow it taller.
Yeah. Oh, see, I used to just blow dirt out every time I mowed. And
right. And
all you have then is weeds. Because weeds grow faster than grass. So
right.
I learned a lesson, and now I cut it as tall as I can cut it. On the rod mower, I do 4 or 5s as tall as I can go. On the push mower, I have it adjusted all the way up, and I use a push mower for the front yard. And
gotcha.
I'm basically just evening out the grass. I'm not really cutting it ever. I'm just taking some of the tall pieces out. And the grass is looking pretty damn good up front.
Yeah, I set mine high, too. I set mine up about 3 inches, probably. Yeah, I cut my grass about 3 inches high.
I look like I got the lawn doctor over here.
But you don't.
Nope. Doctor free.
Yeah. Doctor free.
Just cutting that shit a little higher. Slow down, cut it high. That's what I'll tell everybody.
It's not a race. I got mine set to rabbit.
I mean, I do too, but it looks better if you set it to turtle.
It does.
But
I like how you're with me on that, though.
Dude, my fucking lawnmower has a picture of a rabbit and a turtle.
Mine too.
On the throttle, yeah. They didn't even bother.
I like how you knew exactly what I was talking about, though.
They didn't even bother to try to come up with like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like rabbit or turtle or
rabbit, turtle, fast, slow, and in the middle.
Mine actually has rabbit, turtle, and choke.
Mine actually says choke.
Yeah, mine does too. Okay. Rabbit, turtle, and choke.
Yep.
And it doesn't say rabbit and turtle. There's just a fucking silhouette.
Picture.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's pretty great.
It's that white side portrait.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The profile picture of the turtle and the rabbit, which are two animals that you can immediately distinguish from a profile picture.
And you know exactly what it means. One's fast, one's slow.
Yeah. No one's ever puts it on a turtle and goes, man, I thought this would be fast.
You ever wonder why they called it, who decided to call it choke?
Yeah, I don't know, because it's kind of doing the opposite.
Right. It's kind of letting everything flood in.
Right. Like anti-choke, maybe they should have called it.
Which doesn't have as cool a ring to it, I suppose. It's a little tougher to say in a sentence and make sense.
I'm sure if you're a mechanic, I'm sure it makes sense. And you're probably screaming at this podcast right now, but I'll tell you, I'm with you on it. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Because my understanding is what choke does is that it's flooding it in so it has enough to start up.
Yeah, it's open.
Correct.
It's
opening it up.
Right.
Right. Well, when you close your throat, you're choking.
When you choke someone out, right? It's opposite. Let nothing in. I don't know. I know more about choking people than I do about choking a car vehicle. Because I've watched a lot of CSI Miami in my day.
Yeah, just Miami?
I don't know. That seemed like the one that you wanted to call out, though.
There's like a billion of them.
Yeah. I've seen a lot of all of them, I guess. Except for New York.
I want to watch CSI Wichita.
Yeah, like CSI
I feel like
Denmark.
that'd be interesting.
Just somewhere. They have the Criminal Minds International now, though.
But yeah, I know that with the guy who used to be on CSI New York, I believe.
Gary Sinise, Lieutenant Dan.
Which is odd.
Yeah, because somebody said, hey, he failed on one of these shows already. What do you think? And I said, give him a shot.
See what he can do.
I think he's right for the role.
Weird.
Who knows?
Well, no, he didn't fail. The show was on for a while. CSI New York.
He failed.
I don't know.
Did it run 4 seasons?
I think so. I think it won 5, actually.
You need 4 to hit syndication, I think.
What about old Glasses guy? What the fuck's he up to now? From your favorite, Miami.
Yeah, David Caruso.
That's it.
Just counting his money. Nothing left to do. He's like, look at all my money, Eric. And then they just sit around and laugh. Puts his glasses back on, takes them off, puts them on, takes them off. What was he doing before CSI Miami? Nothing. Making shitty movies.
Not much. You know, he was in First Blood, the original Rambo movie, the very first one, way back in like 81.
Wasn't he a heartthrob at some point?
Yeah, he was on New York Undercover.
Like the ladies loved him.
Something. Remember, there was a show that came out in like the mid '80s that was a cop show that was really controversial because NYPD Blue. That was it.
Oh, he was on that?
Yeah.
I don't remember him until CSI Miami. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything, or if I did, I didn't notice. And
then what happened is he became a big heartthrob, like you said, and so he left after like one season. Because he was like a breakout star.
Yeah.
Right. And then he like didn't do anything again until CSI Miami. He tried to do some movies and they sucked.
Well, good for him figuring it out.
Yeah, I guess.
He probably had to close his Etsy shop down and go do Miami.
You know what I feel like? I feel like he didn't think it through because, okay, when you're all of a sudden popular for like 1 year, it's not all of a sudden you're too big for anything. Well, maybe you should wait it out and make sure.
Well, the thing is, though, the offers are rolling in, and if you wait and people realize you're not that great, there may not be offers.
I guess.
It's a money grab once you hit heartthrob status.
So do you feel like he knew that he wasn't that great, and he was like, fuck it, I'm just going to suck all this money up right now?
Yeah, 100%.
He was in a movie with Nick Cage.
I feel like most people that aren't that good know they're not that good.
Probably.
Nick Cage, I'd say, is an outlier because he accidentally makes good movies sometimes.
He was in a movie. That's the movie that he did. David Caruso. He went and did a Nick Cage movie.
Oh, well, that you should have known the writing was on the wall there.
Jade. That was before he won his Academy Award.
But Nick Cage makes some of the worst movies in Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
But then he'll fuck around and make a really good movie, and you're like,
what are you doing? And win a fucking Academy Award and shit.
Yeah. What are you doing? And then he makes another Ghost Rider, and you're like, I don't understand. What's happening right now?
I feel like he's kind of on his downward spiral. He hasn't made any good movies lately.
Yeah, but he's been known to go.
What was the last good movie he did?
I can't answer that because I go way too far back, and I don't think it's been that long. Surely it's not been that long.
What are you thinking, Con Air?
No, like Gone in 60 Seconds, I think. Wasn't that after Con Air?
Maybe.
Yeah. Con Air was great.
That's not a good movie, by the way.
Gone in 60 Seconds? It's great. That's a great movie.
It's not.
I think my favorite Nick Cage movie is The Rock.
Oh, yeah, The Rock is good.
The Rock holds up, too. If you watch it now, it's still good.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
It's still really good.
You know what I like about that movie? There's really no bad guys in it.
Right. I like those two together. I like Sean Connery and Nick Cage together.
I like Sean Connery. In my mind, Sean Connery can't do a bad movie. There's something about Sean Connery that he is just always going to be like a badass.
Yeah. What about Face Off with John Travolta? You count that as a good Nick Cage movie?
Oh, that's a good Nick Cage movie.
Yeah.
I think that was before Con Air, though.
You know what movie I didn't hate that everybody else did? That movie Next. Did he do with
the one with Jessica Biel?
Yeah.
It's not horrible, but it's not good.
People shit on that movie pretty hard, but I was like, it's okay.
It's okay. It's 90 minutes of entertainment.
Matchstick Men was one I liked.
Oh, I didn't like Matchstick Men. That's the one with the girl where he's a con artist.
I liked it. He's a con artist, yeah. I like that one. Yep. It was all right.
Nah.
He's had a very up and down career. The Wicker Man.
My God. Oh, that's part of the down.
That's a hard down.
That's a hard down.
That's a spiral, a death spiral.
He's yeah, that was a bad one. That's a real bad one. Oh, I saw him in this movie with Hayden Christensen too. What the fuck was that called? Oh, it's really bad though.
Yeah, I was about to say it probably wasn't good either.
They're like sword fighters. And Nick Cage ends up having only one eye.
That's all you need.
fight witches, and so I don't even fucking remember.
He was in The Last Sorcerer. Is that what that's called? The Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yeah, no, that's not the movie I'm thinking of.
Remember that one?
I do.
That was part of The Down.
Wasn't that with Jay Baruchel?
I don't know. It's part of The Down, though. I'm positive of that. I like Nick. Nick Cage is crazy.
I gotta find this movie now. So you're gonna have to fill time while I'm doing this.
Do you think we could do a Nick Cage podcast?
I'm sure there's probably plenty of people out there who already do.
It's only about Nick Cage.
Well, there's plenty of material. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're never going to be at a loss for material. I can promise you that.
Do you think a lot of people think was it Raising Arizona? Is that it, right?
Yeah, with Holly Hunter. That's a good movie. That's a lot of people think that's his
best movie.
That's a good Nick Cage movie.
Yeah. But that's early Nick Cage.
Outcast.
I've never even heard of that.
A mysterious warrior teams up with the daughter and son of a deposed Chinese emperor to defeat their cruel brother who seeks their deaths.
That sounds terrible.
Hayden Christensen, Nicolas Cage.
Your boy Nicolas Cage.
Anybody else we might know in here? And nobody else anyone's ever heard of. Yeah. Takes place in China. And they're warriors. And here's the tagline. Legends are born in battle.
I'm going to pull up Nick Cage's. I feel like we're forgetting something.
Something he's been good in?
Yeah. He's got a big gem I feel like that we're forgetting. He's been in so many movies.
I know he has. I mean, because if there's a script, he'll fucking read it.
Leaving Las Vegas.
Which is okay. I wasn't a huge fan of that.
Con Air, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck, Bad Lieutenant, Wild at Heart.
Stupid.
Let me just say Wild at Heart looks like a gem from the cover. Gone in 60 Seconds, Adaptation. Lord of War, that's one of my favorite Nick Cage movies.
That's where he's with Ethan Hawke?
I can't remember who else is in that. He sells guns, though.
Yeah, he's a gun runner.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's... I can't remember who it is.
The Wicker Man, Season of the Witch, Kick-Ass.
Oh, I forgot about Kick-Ass.
Yeah, he was good in Kick-Ass. Yeah.
That's a good movie.
The Family Man, The Rock, Left Behind.
Drive Angry!
That's
the one.
Snake Eyes.
Drive Angry is the one I forgot. Drive Angry was the perfect vehicle for Nick Cage.
It was 2011, so that came out the same time as Kick-Ass was 2010. He was on a roll right there.
Yeah. I mean, two good movies in a row.
Matchstick Man, The Sorcerer's Apprentice, The Weatherman.
No.
Peggy Sue Got Married, City of Angels. He's been in so many movies.
I forgot about Peggy Sue Got Married.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
It's like his first role.
Bangkok Dangerous. I'm skipping a lot of them. Here's Next, Ghost Rider. National Treasure was big for him.
Oh, forgot National Treasure, yeah.
Those were huge. Yeah. Didn't they make 3?
I think there was just 2.
Dude, he's been in so many movies.
Oh, yeah, he has. I mean, he's just sitting in money. He was almost Superman.
He was. That wouldn't have been good.
No, that would not have been good.
That wouldn't have been good at all.
That would have ranked right down there with Wicker Man.
Let us know what you think about a Nick Cage only podcast. I'll just tell you right now, it would have its ups and downs.
Oh, yeah.
Like his career, it couldn't be consistently good.
No, it'd be like his fans. That's exactly what we would get. Some would say he's awesome. Some would say he sucks. We do want to know your opinions on Nick Cage, though.
If this is your first time here, welcome. This podcast is actually about video games. I bet you didn't know that.
What?
Exactly. So each week, this team of best friends gets together and we talk about all the things in video games that we love in nerd culture, and it usually spirals out of control like it has for the last 45 minutes or into this dumpster fire. And we call that a podcast each week. Put a number on it, put a title on it, and we just slap it out there for you to listen to. If you love it, that's great. Thanks. We're surprised. We're excited. You can support this show over on patreon.com/Gamestitch. Toss us a couple bones on there if you want. We can bonus. And if you don't want a bonus, you can just keep your money and keep listening to this free podcast. That's okay too. But we do love the support we have over there, and you guys are making other things possible, like Gamestitch Live, which is coming up.
Yeah, we have one this week.
Yeah. That'll be episode 2. I think we're going to stop calling it episodes, and we're just going to date the date that we do it.
Gamestitch Live on this date?
It'll be like Gamestitch Live for May 20 whatever.
Gotcha. Because we do one a month. That makes sense.
Yeah. It feels like we haven't done any because you're just on
that
episode 2.
way we don't have to keep track of episodes.
Yeah. So I think we're going to switch to that.
So it's more about us having a chance to be lazy and not wanting to do work.
It's for the fans. It's their show.
It's also important to note that the day before that, on the 24th, if you go to the Twitch, twitch.tv/shirtlessdan75.
That's correct.
At 8 p.m. on Eastern Standard Time, the only time that matters.
At 7 p.m. Central Standard.
Nobody cares about that.
For anybody that needs a breakdown.
EST.
That doesn't even sound good. CST sounds good.
No, the EST. They sound the fucking same.
To you, maybe.
EST.
To the common ear, they might.
EST.
And I think we're going to try to host that on our channel also, so that you can find it one way or another. And either way, the full video will be back up after the fact on YouTube.
It's important to note that that video will be me playing Life of Black Tiger, which you, the fans, clamored for, apparently. Apparently, I'm the go-to guy for the shit games. I'm cool with that. I don't even know it's a shit game. I might love it.
You're like the Nick Cage of playing games.
I am. You're right. That's cool.
I play some big titles every now and then, but boy, some bullshit.
I will play the hell out of some bullshit, though. I will play the hell out of some bullshit.
So Wednesday is Life of Black Tiger, twitch.tv/shirtlessdan75. Thursday is Gamestitch Live.
Yes.
And that will be on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Gamestitch.
Keep an eye on my Twitter. There will be a tweet feed sent out when I start playing. So I do have all that linked. So there will be a tweet that goes out.
Okay. That's all we have for housekeeping. We're going to jump into the news, and let me tell you, there's a lot of news. We're going to try to keep it short, give you a little bit of opinion that we have, and move on because we don't want to overwhelm you with all that's going on, especially leading up to E3.
All this information.
We knew we were going to get to see a little bit of Destiny 2 this week. We didn't know how much. It turns out kind of a lot.
Yeah, fair amount.
Yeah. So we're just going to talk about the few things of note. Now, I want to preface this by saying that we don't care about Destiny, and that we didn't play the first game that much.
I did.
That much. You barely played it.
That's not true.
You barely played it. Like 20 hours.
No, I played more than that. I played much more than that.
22 hours.
No.
Dan doesn't love this game at all. And
I don't love the game, but I had fun with the game.
So if you're upset about our coverage of this game, you should probably listen to a different podcast because we're not big Destiny guys.
No, we're not.
And you're never going to get the deep detail out of Destiny, probably from this. So the main thing of note is it's going to be more cinematic. It's going to have a better looking story, a more fleshed out story, it looks like.
This is a good idea. What the first game did is it showed you a cutscene, and then it had your stupid little Peter Dinklage fucking floaty guy tell you, I can't remember what the fuck it was called right now.
Yeah,
Ghost.
Somebody that loved Destiny so much.
Ghost. I never said I loved it.
Dinklebot.
Your Dinklebot Ghost would pretty much then tell you what was going on. So it was much more of a tell, don't show idea. Making it more cinematic, making a better story is a good idea.
Dinklebot's Nolan North now. That's a better idea too.
That was a much better idea as well.
Again, there's going to be 4 planets. But it does appear that these 4 planets are going to have much more to do on them.
And they're going to be different planets.
Right.
With the exception of Earth.
There's always Earth.
There's always Earth.
There's always Earth. See what else we've got here. No new classes, but they are restructuring some of the subclasses.
This is cool, but kind of shitty too, because some of those classes were the favorites that I played with, the ones they're getting rid of. The new ones look cool, but why get rid of the old ones? Why not just add in? Why just not allow for the 4th one?
Well, they can't support it.
I guess.
I don't know. Weapon loadouts are changing, but nothing else to the gear seems to be changing based off of what we saw. Same kind of deal. They're getting rid of 3, adding 3.
Yeah.
So they're getting rid of what did they call it the first time? I can't remember.
What do you mean?
Well, what were the classes? They were primary, heavy.
Oh yeah, primary, heavy, and
special.
Specials. Yes.
Primary, heavy, and special. They're replacing those with energy, kinetic,
and
power. Yeah, sounds like the same kind of shit.
It's going to be very similar. Just you can swap between your primary groups now, I guess.
The Crucible will feel more intimate and strategic, whatever that means. Basically, what we're trying to say there is it just looks like it's going to be a better experience.
Well, the teams are going to be smaller, I suppose.
Yeah, it looks more fun.
Much more intimate.
Yeah, it would get so big before that. I don't know. I mean, watching people play, it looked like it was
chaos.
No, almost the opposite. Like sometimes there wasn't anything going on. And when it was going on, it was going on. But if you could scale that down and make it always going on, that seems like a better time.
Better idea? Yeah.
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 The PC version is going to be exclusively sold through Blizzard's app store, whatever that's called, whatever was Battle.net. It's going to be exclusively sold through that, which some people are not happy that it won't be on Steam. It was also announced that it is not day and date for PC.
That's right.
So they're going to have to wait a little while to not buy it on the platform they want to buy it on. You're welcome, world.
Yes. Overall thoughts?
It looks like Destiny. I think that's what it needed to look like. It still doesn't interest me at all. I'm sure people will love it. I'm sure it will have the giant cult following that it has now. They made some smart moves, not letting the characters carry over other than looks, because that would isolate all your new players.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like much more of a complete thought.
Yeah, it definitely looks like Destiny. The problem is it looks like Destiny. I don't know that as a 2, it brings enough to the table to, have earned being Destiny 2. Of course, we don't know what the downloadable plans are, what the future update plans are, so it might be kind of early to speculate. I feel like that for another full-price game at this point, which I suppose most of the downloadable content was too for the first one, but I don't know that there's... For me personally, I don't know that there's enough to truly have earned a Destiny 2 title. This feels more like a Destiny 1.75. Like we're almost there.
And maybe more will come out along the way.
Right, and that's why I said, of course, they haven't made any of their plans aware, so, that DLC add-ons could completely blow this out of the water. And
once you spend another $190, it might make it a complete game.
Well, I mean, that first, I can't remember what the title of it was, but that first add-on content for Destiny completely changed what that game was. I mean, it really brought it to what Destiny was supposed to be. It'll just be interesting to see that if obviously the people who are very much into Destiny are going to get this, are going to purchase this. They probably have it pre-ordered already. My worry is that it's what it is on its face isn't going to be different enough from the first one to truly keep them interested. And I wonder if we're just running into that whole cycle again where, this isn't what it was supposed to be. So, I don't know. I guess we won't know more until we see it.
Was Rise of Iron the first one?
I can't remember.
And then, again, it fundamentally changed when The Taken King came out. So, I mean, that game's gone through a lot of different... It is apparently now a game that people love playing.
Yes.
But...
Before, it was very much a grind, and with the new... Once the new content came out, it definitely changed the face of what the game was.
If it starts at that point and goes up from there, I mean, who knows? It could become this... What people want it to be.
This juggernaut?
Yeah, this force to be reckoned with. That is...
Yeah.
Destiny. I don't know. Maybe it's destiny.
Maybe it's fate.
Maybe it is. Moving on, another Life is Strange game is in the works, and I'm sure that this got your it got you pants fitting a little tighter in the crotch area.
Ooh, yeah. It's even not only do I have a boner, but my balls are swollen too.
Right. Well, those usually go hand in hand. I'm not a physician, but I think those go hand in hand.
No, not always. Usually they shrink up.
So
this was ready to blast, but
this was an announcement without an announcement. They basically released a video saying we're working on it. The original team is working on a new Life is Strange game.
No news, won't be at E3, but just the fact that they're working on a new one is fucking awesome.
Right.
I've talked time and time again about how much I love this game. It was my game of the year. Yeah, I want to play the second one.
I mean, it's got to be a continuation of some form of those characters, wouldn't you think?
I would think it needs to be at least of the main character.
Yeah. I wondered, that's the first thing I thought is, do they continue that story? Do they continue with any of those characters? Because if you start over, it's almost not a Life is Strange game, right?
Yeah. The thing is, it needs to practice the same conceits that the first one did. Yeah. You need to have the time travel aspect. You need to have the time changing aspect, the time travel aspect. But I think if you introduce a new character with that ability, and I think that kind of wets it down. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it needs to be a continuation of the character. And maybe, the first one was a study of adolescence. Maybe this one could be a study of the transition into adulthood. So there, don't nod. I'll take my check. You can just add a 0 and send it to me.
You think they're listening? And you think they haven't done enough work right now they can scrap it and just pick up with your idea? Who knows? Maybe.
It was the thing. The Life is Strange game. The first one was very metaphorical for adolescence. So I feel like those themes need to carry in some sort. I think same character carrying on with exploring themes of the transition into adulthood would be amazing.
Yeah. Time will tell. They said on their Tumblr that they won't be at E3, which you said earlier. Mm-hmm. When do you think we'll see this game again? Or for the first time, I guess I should say. Not this year?
No, I don't think we'll see it this year.
Yeah. Maybe next year.
I think Life is Strange has a very, very rabid fan base that it kind of goes under the radar that people aren't aware of. And I think this is just kind of temper them and maybe get some of these people staying off their back.
Well, and you don't want to lose the fans either.
Right.
You can wait so long that people are like, as much as I love that, it's not as special.
Right.
So you've got to keep the hype and keep people excited. Moving on, it's been one bumpy ride for South Park Fractured Butthole. This game has seen delays, maybe more than your typical delay. But it would appear that Ubisoft has finally nailed down a date, and hopefully for the last time, the game will release October 17th, 2017, almost a year late from the original planned release. The first game, it dealt with the same problems, the stick of truth. It would appear the blame was pretty much put on Matt and Trey, that they wanted the story to be absolutely perfect and like South Park, and because they weren't there, it just created delays. And my guess is that this is the same problem with this. But
yeah,
remember back to when Stick of Truth came out and how everyone felt about that game and how well done it was. I think you're going to get the same thing out of this.
I do too. And it's funny how, you know, a year delay is big. We see delays, but not normally that large.
Right.
But you don't hear anybody bitching or complaining or, what the fuck, why are you pushing it back? You don't hear those complaints.
I think you did when they first pushed it back. But I think people are smart enough to remember back. Like, that's why you got such a good game out of Stick of Truth. Like, that's why you got that. If you want that again, let them make it. They know what they're doing. Let them make the game they're making. So, who knows?
I agree wholeheartedly.
Along with the South Park news, we also got a ton of other info as part of Ubi's 2017 lineup, as part of their pre-E3 announcement. So we're going to get a new Assassin's Creed. Obviously, it's been rumored that it's in Egypt. Far Cry 5. And The Crew 2, which was a huge shock to me.
How the fuck does The Crew get a 2?
The Crew is getting a 2. So you can expect to see all of those at E3 this year. I think the only thing out there for Far Cry is a weird 3D-looking title.
Yeah.
There's lots of leaks for Assassin's Creed. And The Crew 2, I don't even know what the fuck to expect out of that. But maybe,
it'll be good.
Ubisoft is doing strange moves that seem to pay off. So,
yeah,
well,
they're taking a lot of care with their franchises now. So,
yeah, they're putting games out that appear to fail, and they treat them as if they're a huge success,
and then they become a huge success.
And then they become a huge success. So, maybe The Crew 2 is where it's at.
What's the one?
Rainbow
Siege.
Six Siege.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah, that game came out to pretty much nothing.
That game started at nowhere, and then just...
They did a free weekend. They let your progress move forward if you purchase the full game. They announced like a 2-year DLC plan. They put it on sale, and people just started playing it and being like, hey, this is pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
And that game's pretty big now. Pretty crazy. Speaking of E3... We're going to get a little more crowded this year. Devolver is now doing their own press conference with the likes of Bethesda and some of the others. So they're going to jump out early. They also have a weird Devolver picnic that's going on in E3.
You have to have a badge, but it's outside.
Yeah, which is bullshit. But yeah, We'll see what happens here. I mean, I think it's cool that Devolver has enough to do that.
Do they?
I mean, Devolver is huge as far as the indie scene. I mean, or Devolver, not Devolver.
They are huge on the indie scene.
Yeah, Devolver is publishing a ton of indie games, and for them to be able to fill up a block is exciting to me because I like the kind of games that they publish.
That they put out, yeah.
But also, it's one more press conference. It's one more hour to watch and to talk about, and
yep,
it's a busy week. I know this will get your if your erection has gone down from the Life is Strange, I know this will get it back up. But it looks like the Witcher is heading to Netflix.
Yep.
Netflix announced a development agreement for a Witcher adaptation based on the books, not the games. So calm your tits, everybody. The author's actually involved in this, it would appear.
The author is involved with it, but CD Projekt Red is not.
Which is sad because they treat their franchises with love.
They do, but it's not based off the video game, it's based off the book.
So does the writer. He's been writing this shit for like 15 years.
Yeah, forever.
He fucking lives in the world too, so don't panic yet.
Yep.
And Netflix treats everything with care.
They do. They do some real good stuff.
Even their bad stuff is better than most of the good stuff on...
Yeah.
Like normal TV. This next story I think is pretty cool. VidCon's Hank Green is now crowdfunding a PodCon, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's a podcast convention. It's on Indiegogo right now. They are asking for $300,000, which sounds like a lot. But my guess would be a lot of that would be wrapped up in the venue.
Yeah, probably. Marketing, that kind of stuff.
Right. He's brought in a lot of other people. He's teamed up with Joseph Fink and Jeffrey Cranor, the creators of the original viral podcast Welcome to Night Vale.
Which is huge. Welcome to Night Vale is a big deal.
As well as Travis McElroy, who has 6 podcasts, but is best known as host of the advice show My Brother, and Me, which has recently been picked up for part of NBC's streaming service, CISO. Just goes to show you a podcast can become a big deal. But VidCon has jumped to the front of the line as far as conventions for YouTubers and Vine when it was around,
Periscope,
and
all those.
Any kind of content creators for even what we do, it's jumped to the forefront of that. So the idea that they're trying to do the same thing for audio guys who do podcasts is pretty exciting. It is in Seattle. It's December, I think, 2nd, 3rd, or 9th and 10th. It's some sort of combination of a weekend in early December. There's lots of tiers. You can support them over at Indiegogo. $90 does get you into the door. And if you can't travel to Seattle, there's a cheaper tier that lets you stream it.
Important note about this. Funding goal is set to flexible. So what this means is even if it doesn't reach the $300,000 in the next 20 days, any donations that are received, the team does keep. It's not something, if it's not like where if it's not met, they don't get any of the money. If you donate, you have donated.
Your money's gone.
You won't get that money back.
It won't work like a failed Kickstarter.
Exactly. Usually this is kind of a red flag. But in this situation, given that Green has been through this before, and he eventually got YouTube as an official sponsor of VidCon, it's probably going to be worth it to just donate that money. You're probably going to end up seeing this happen.
I think it'll happen.
Yeah.
And I can check to see what it's at now, but it jumped up. 48 hours after it opened, I think it was already at almost $40,000. So.
Yeah, I think I checked it last night, and it was like 46.
Yeah, so it's barreling up. I think there's so many podcasts and so many people who enjoy podcasts that I think this makes a lot of sense. So I think you'll see this happen. The venue may change depending on the amount of money collected, but yeah, I think it's cool. If you want to support it. If not, that's cool too.
You ever wonder how come they don't put these things in like the middle of America? America somewhere?
Not really, because I've seen Middle America. So it pretty much takes care of the reason that nothing is there.
But don't you think if more... if all these
I get what you're saying. It would be more convenient for travel.
Not just that, but as long as we're shitting all over Middle America here, don't you think bringing some of those people from like Boston or Seattle, L.A., New York, they could bring some of that culture with them, like to Middle America.
Yeah, I guess they could. I don't know that Middle America wants that, and I don't know that Boston, Seattle, and
lost
Washington
like 75% of our fucking audience. Good job, Ryan.
I think we all know that their internet's not good enough to listen to this podcast.
Oh no!
So it's fine.
You never know. They might be listening to us while they're driving their tractors,
right?
Pulling up corn.
Yeah. I love Middle America. I'm the guy playing Farming Simulator. Remember?
I know.
But
I'm the guy eating peas and corn. So
I think the reasons that we don't do them in those places is ultra clear. Next story.
Ultra clear.
Ultra clear. The clearest of reasons why we don't do it, and say like,
if you're asking the question,
Idaho.
There's something seriously wrong with you.
No one's like, PodCon coming to Iowa, and you'd be like, what the fuck?
Coming to Des Moines early 2018.
Yeah, they're like, great. Do planes fly into Des Moines? Does anyone know if I can get a flight in?
Oh, shit.
It's finally your time, Dan. The Nintendo Switch getting a new bundle. All you have to do is get on a plane, fly to Japan, and pick one up because it's not announced for North America yet.
Yeah.
It is a Splatoon 2 bundle. It comes with a what I'm calling the watermelon combo. It's a bright pink controller and a lime green controller packaged together. And they look pretty good.
That'd be nice.
It's coming with a console. So it's console, Splatoon 2, and then these watermelon controllers. Joy-Con. Excuse me, they're not controllers.
They're Joy-Cons.
They're Joy-Cons. Joy-Con. They're not, no S either. Just Joy-Con. Watermelon Joy-Con.
What if you have two of them?
No, still just, they're Joy-Con. There's no plural. Like Prius.
At that point, they'd be like Joy-Koi? Like Octopi? Octopus?
Just Joy-Con. Right and a left Joy-Con, because they're not the same thing.
So it's like Moose.
Yeah. Well, there's a right and a left. They're different. If you had two rights, though, they would just be two right Joy-Con.
So it's like Moose.
Yeah.
But not geese. Even though it's goose and not meese.
It could be meese.
It's not meese. It's
you
moose.
You can call it that. And you can explain why you did.
Moose
to all the people
plural.
In fucking Iowa or Idaho.
It's Iowa. Des Moines is in Iowa.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but Idaho is just as fucking good for any listeners that are there.
Idaho?
Yeah.
Maybe Des Moines in Idaho. No, it's Iowa, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. What about Bismarck?
That's Idaho.
A lot of shit. Now, isn't that a Dakota?
Oh, yeah, it might be.
North Dakota? This is a capital, I think.
Helena's in Montana.
There's a lot popping off in all of that middle America. A lot going on. The like the Midwest like retro gaming conventions in like Wisconsin or something. So you could probably get behind that. Yeah.
What's Wisconsin? I'll get behind that. Go Middle America.
Yeah.
It's cold there though.
Yeah, fuck snow. Anyways, this is coming out in Japan only right now. I assume we'll get a bundle here. I think right now Nintendo's official stance on why there is not a bundle for North America is because they want people to buy whatever game they want to buy. Whatever the fuck that means. I can still buy whatever game I want to buy. If you just give me one, though, that'd be great.
Right.
They also showed off a ton of new accessories, mostly themed around games. So they have like Splatoon carrying cases and Zelda cases. And they did show off a new Pro Controller, which has a red and green grip on those also.
Huh.
Though I did not see a picture. Could be time for you to pop on it.
No, it's not.
Nintendo also announced that the title ARMS will be getting a demo. It's called the Global Test Punch Demo. So it's going to follow a similar model to those of Splatoon and Splatoon 2, which people do not like because it's only available to play on certain weekends for certain hours. And if you have any sort of life, then you probably don't get to play it. This is one I want to play because I'm weird about ARMS right now.
Yeah?
I don't want to do all the punching and stuff, but you can play with a regular controller, and it looks neat. So I don't know. I'm saying right now I'm not going to get it, but who knows? Maybe this Global Test Punch was just what I need to get me excited about it.
Maybe. Not me. I won't be playing it because I don't have a Switch.
It's true, but you could get one.
But I'm not.
A lot of people did because it was the number one selling system for the second month in a row, outselling PS4 and Xbox One once again.
I know.
And that's with not being able to find one.
I know. That's good news.
Saying something for Nintendo's.
Yeah.
I found some sort of, this is not on the news list. And I'm going to provide you with some facts that I can't back up right now. But I was on some sort of website the other day, and it always has like the clickbait at the bottom. It's like, you won't believe what this newscaster said or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But there was one that said, you won't believe what they called on camera next. But there was one that said, like, you won't believe these top-selling games. And
yeah.
It was a picture of Nintendogs. And I just kept staring at that thinking, really? That's a top-selling game? So I clicked on it. It took me to some real shady website. I probably got a virus, too.
Probably.
But it
probably got that WannaCry thing.
Like millions of copies of Nintendo. I didn't even flip through the rest of them to see what it was because it was one of those pages that had like arrows everywhere. And I knew if I clicked on the wrong one, it was going to pop up like, free porn in my area. Facebook for fucking or whatever pops up.
MILFs. Hook up with a MILF tonight.
MILF in your area, and it's like it's animated too. So she's deep throating something right there on my page. I'm like, whoa.
Yep.
Click. But yeah, so I didn't check anything else. But Nintendogs is something I totally forgot about.
It was huge when it came out.
Well, they had like Chihuahua and fucking Pitbull.
Dachshund.
Right?
I don't think they had Pitbull.
Nintendogs Pitbull edition.
There's Golden Retriever.
It was the rapper Pitbull on the front. It wasn't the dog.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. It was a crossover rhythm game.
It was not.
Yeah, they had like a million of them.
You need to stop talking about Pitbull on this fucking podcast.
I don't think I've talked about Pitbull
You
before.
have talked about Pitbull before.
Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
Him and Seacrest are my boys. I actually don't like Pitbull very much, but I like what he's done for himself.
I understand that.
Yeah. I like people that they just make their own.
I don't know. He is really bad at what he does, but somehow he gets these megastars that are really good at what they do to come on his tracks with him.
Because he puts on a nice suit and a skinny tie, and he looks good, and people like him. He's charismatic.
He is charismatic, and he does dress nicely.
Yeah, he's a snappy dresser.
He is.
And now what he's done, because he has done what you just said in the past, is now you know if you get on with him that your track's going to be giant.
Yeah.
Now he's created this environment where you're like, I can't not be on a Pitbull track if you ask.
Mr. Worldwide.
Mr. Worldwide. He says some numbers too, but I don't know what they are.
I mean,
like 305 or something. Like Miami. What's their area code?
If I can check real quick.
Isn't that where he's at, Miami?
Sure. I don't know.
Somewhere where it's nice. Where it's too hot to wear a suit, but he still does, and he doesn't sweat.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I'm actually not that worried about it. Fuck it. I don't want to look it up.
You faked me out because you got on your thing like you were checking.
I know, and then I decided I didn't want to.
Fair enough.
I didn't want to be a sheep.
Along with the data that we got that Nintendo outsold the other two systems, we got some game data for best-selling games for April. I'm not going to bore you with all this, but I do like my charts. So we'll run through the best-selling games for all platforms together. Number 10, Call of Duty Black Ops. Number 9, Overwatch. Overwatch does not include digital sales. Number 8, NBA 2K17. Number 7, Mass Effect Andromeda. Number 6, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 5, Ghost Recon Wildlands. Another example of Ubisoft not giving up.
Yeah.
Number 4, MLB The Show 17. Number 3, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Number 2, Persona 5, no digital sales for these top 3. And number 1, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. No surprises there.
Not really.
I pulled the list for the best-selling games on systems, but I'll just tell you that the top 10 list is pretty much made out of the top 3s of all these other platforms,
yeah.
So there's no real reason to read them.
You know what? I can't believe Mass Effect Andromeda is actually on here because the way you would have made it sound like you would have thought that this was the worst game that ever came out. Everybody seemed to shit on it, but
but they all bought it.
in April.
They bought it all to shit on it, though.
Yeah,
like
in April.
Yeah, at a certain point though, when
2 weeks
something's
after
bad, you're
came
like,
out,
I can't believe it's that bad. I got to get it.
No.
And then they get it, and they're like, oh, it's okay or it's not okay. But people buy it because they don't believe. They think people are just being hard on it, so they still want to get it and try it. Yeah, sometimes. Like if I want something and everybody's shitting on it, and I'll still get it.
Oh well, yeah, that's different though.
Yeah, well, you're getting it because you don't believe what everybody's saying about it.
No, I'll get it because it's what I wanted to play to start with.
You still think it'll be good?
That's why I get games.
I don't care about all the negative reviews. They'll still think it'll be good. And
yeah, I don't give a fuck what other people think.
It does look like most of the success on Andromeda was from Xbox One, as it was their number 2 game overall, and on PlayStation it was down to 7. So
well, I think more people probably bought it on Xbox One, curious about how their original games were going to carry over. Granted, I understand that they did come out for PS3, but they had a much shorter shelf life on PS3 than they did on Xbox.
Yeah,
360.
Hard to say. Maybe there's just nothing else to play over on Xbox One. Shot fired.
Oh, what'd you do there?
I'm saying come out with some exclusives, Microsoft. It's time.
It is time.
There's both of your first parties have been very shitty about getting out exclusives, but Sony has been aided by third party. You know, just like you see Persona 5 second from that, on that overall list, and it's a great exclusive that Sony didn't have to do anything for. Got to get more of that, Microsoft.
Yeah, they both need to get a little bit better on the first party.
First party, yeah, it's nightmare. Oh, you know what else I picked up?
What?
Loading Human Chapter 1 PSVR game.
Oh, how is it?
I haven't played it yet, but I found it for $10 at Target. I was like, hell yeah, coming home.
Which one is Loading Human?
It's got like some space people on the front. It looks like a...
It's like a robot AI thing, right?
Yeah, if you just look at the cover, it looks like Telltale, and it looks like Telltale's Mass Effect. Is what it looks like on the cover. It's like cartoony, spacey looking.
Yeah.
It probably sucks, but for $10 and more VR content, I mean, I'm good.
Yeah, I kind of want to get a VR.
Yeah, I have so many VR games stacking up, but it's such a... When I get VR out, I want to be left alone to play it. Like, I want to sink 8 hours into it and just go all in and have the time of my life, and I don't ever have that kind of commitment.
Yeah, I don't ever have that kind of time either, so that's why I'm kind of, backed off of it.
I have such a good time with it that I'm irritated if I have to get it set up and play it for only like an hour or 45 minutes.
Well, plus I don't want to get a PS Pro.
You don't need one?
PS4 Pro. I know, but it would look better. Well, no, I don't have a UHD TV. It wouldn't fucking matter.
Well, it would maybe help a little bit with the processing power for the VR itself because you're in the headset, but it doesn't matter. Runs fine on the other. We talked about this a little before the podcast. I love VR. It's everything they said it was. It's everything I said it was in the beginning. It's awesome. The experiences, I've not had a bad experience with it yet. But there's just not enough people that have them. So how do you make a game for them?
Yeah. We did talk about it before.
Eagle's Flight was incredible, but I get online to play it, and there's 4 people online. It's like, okay, great.
And none of them are your friends.
Right, because you guys are fucking cheap.
Because we don't want VR.
You just said you wanted it.
I said I debated. I said
the
I
weird thing about VR
is different.
Everybody that I know, maybe not Hoffenshow, not sure about him. Everybody wants VR. Like you've said it, Matt said it, Howard's talked about having it. He almost bought it at one point. Everybody, Matt told me one day, hey, if you can find me one, I'll buy it. Now, I found him one and he didn't buy it, which is bullshit, but like I get it. Like it's appealing. It's appealing from the outside looking in.
See, I think if I could get it for $100 cheaper, I would pull the trigger. If I
it
get
is
it
in
for
stock.
$2.99, not $3.99.
It is in stock now. I saw it everywhere.
Yeah, it is everywhere, but it's $3.99, and I feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
If it was $2.99, I'd probably pick it up.
I would like to know how differently I would have felt if I paid the $3.99 for it
instead of winning it. Yeah,
because I'm totally like,
you could give a shit, man.
I'm so positive about VR because it's exactly what they said it was. It works, and I have zero invested in it, so it's a perfect situation for me. I mean, I bought the case and several of the games, but I was looking. I've got like 6. This doesn't count digital, but I got like 6 or 7 physical games for VR that I'm waiting to play or have played. Right. And I mean, the library. There's always 1 or 2 games coming out each week. It's just like, how many do they have to sell to be successful, and can they afford to make another VR title? Maybe Sony's kicking them.
How do you sink the kind of money in that's required for a AAA title?
Right. I mean, you're looking at Farpoint right now. Farpoint will not make its money back.
No.
I can say that without worrying about being wrong. Farpoint will not make its money back. And Farpoint's getting 7 and 8s on the review. It's pretty good. But I just don't get it. I tried to buy one since Tuesday. I tried to buy one since Tuesday and can't find one that comes with a gun.
Yeah, that's the one.
I should have pre-ordered it. I know. Fuck you, GameStop. I get it. But I've been everywhere. I've been to Best Buy, Walmart, online, Amazon. Nobody has them.
No, they don't.
And I don't get it. It's like the few people who have them that want to buy it are trying to buy it, and you don't fucking have them. It's unacceptable. I love VR. I wish you had one so I could discuss it with someone who was playing it. Cause
yeah, I know. Like, if I could get it for $100 cheaper, I'd pick one up right now. I'd go out after this podcast and buy it. But.
And maybe they'll do a sale this holiday. Once, it's just now starting to be in stock. So now the few people that were waiting on it this whole time, as they buy it and sales slow down, maybe you'll see a price cut.
That's what I'm hoping.
The tech is good. They don't have to drop the price. I think it's worth what they're charging. The problem is going to be how long until developers say we can't do this anymore.
Right.
I don't know how easy it is to get your game on, because what you have to do is you have to get your game on PlayStation 5 and Oculus to survive, because you need the sales from all three to make still mediocre sales when it comes to a normal game. So, I don't know. I really want to play Resident Evil in it, though, and shit my pants. That seems fun. I want to try the Tomb Raider stuff in VR, too.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But I don't have the definitive
edition.
Did you got that, right?
Yeah.
On PS4?
Yeah.
So you could jump right into that. You could be in Laura's mansion.
I could.
Or Lara.
Lara Croft.
Lara Croft.
It's
your
Laura.
girl. Lara.
It's Laura.
It is Laura. Except for some people are weird.
Some are weird.
They don't like to say it that way.
There's
now it's... What?
A lot of people are weird.
I was transitioning the podcast right there. This is...
just so y'all know, my cat just threw up on the floor.
Sweet. That's a little behind the scenes. Your chair is so creaky, we heard you turn around and look at it, too. You're like in a... Like the horror house door is what your chair is made out of. It creaks. Yeah. That's like someone's going to die. That's creepy stuff.
That's what I go for.
Now it's time for our newest revived segment, Gone But Not Forgotten, where we reach back in our gaming past, we dust off an old beauty for you, and we force feed that right down your throat and your ear holes. This week it's Dan's turn.
Okay, I need to preface this by saying this game is not good.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a good game.
So it's definitely gone and forgotten.
Yeah, it's gone and forgotten. But when this game came out, I bought it, and I really had a really good time with it. Part of it's because of its setting. Actually, most of it is because of its setting, I'm not going to lie. Other than that, it was pretty standard. Other than the verticality that it kind of, in some senses, introduced. And that game is 2009's Damnation.
Oh, wow.
Developed by Blue Omega Entertainment and published by Codemasters. Steampunk third-person shooter.
Yeah, it was.
Alternate universe type stuff. Or alternative history, I should say. Yeah. Civil War was kind of still raging on. And instead of a combustion engine, everything got swapped over. Steam engine is what took off. So that's where the cyberpunk situation came in. Basically, you've got a bad guy who's trying to now unite the North and the South, the Union and the Confederacy, who have been fighting now for 20 years. He wants to unite them because what he wants to do is basically be a totalitarian leader of the new totalitarian state that he put together. Your job is to fight him and defend him. It's pretty standard shooting fare. Third-person shooter. You run around, you shoot people. It introduced the vertical aspect of things. A lot of climbing. A lot of up and down. A lot of getting the high ground. I should say it's credited with introducing that. Nothing else like that I think had ever been in a AAA title, which is what Damnation was. It's not a good game.
You're getting a little choked up talking about it, though. You're missing it. Nostalgia's creeping up on you.
I'm smelling cat puke.
Same thing. Same exact thing.
It's not a good game by any means, but because of the setting and the alternative, I am an alternate history buff. I love that shit. So I put my hands on anything, and I like whatever has Homefront. I liked Homefront.
Right.
I watched Man in the High Castle on Amazon. That's pretty cool. That's really cool. So yeah, I like that stuff. I like cyber or steampunk to an extent, and this was a pretty good mashup. So if you're ever just looking for something that's got a decent story, that the gameplay is not great, pick up Damnation.
That's this week's Gone But Not Forgotten. Remember, if you have one for us, send it to us at game_stitch over at Twitter using the hashtag GBNF, or email it podcast at Gamestitch.com, just like our friend Dustin Reese did with a follow-up from last week's Gone But Not Forgotten, where he wrote in and told us about a title that he couldn't find, and we named it hoping that was the title. As it turns out, it was. He said it was Atomic Mutant that he was thinking of, and thanks for finding it. So we're happy to. If you ever have a title, I wasn't
involved in that, you're welcome.
Yeah, if you have a title that you can't think of, send it to us. We'll figure it out, or we won't. But we'll give it something to talk about either way.
We will at least try. I can promise that.
We did some hard detective work on this one to locate it, and because I'll tell you, he thought it was called I'm a Teenage Mutant. And I'll be damned, no matter what filters you put on what, if that doesn't pull up Ninja Turtles all the time.
Right.
So we had to get pretty deep up in Google's ass to locate I Was an Atomic Mutant. But it felt good when we found it, and I felt like that was the game. And instead of reaching out for confirmation beforehand, we just announced it on the podcast, because that's how sure I was that you could already move on that. I felt like it was definitely the right title. Yeah, so we're glad to hear that was the title. Thanks for writing in, Dustin.
Excellent. Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah, it was a good time.
We also have a few questions here on Twitter. Our good friend Garrett Wade, shout out Garrett Wade, says at Gamestitch, what is the game The Surge? Is it like Neo or Dark Souls? Well, I already tweeted him back on this, and I said, it's like Dark Souls with technology.
And then I think he followed up wanting to know how hard it is.
Yeah, and then he said, what he said was, LOL, I kind of knew that much.
Right.
I guess my real question is, which I suppose you answered, is its gameplay / difficulty more Dark Souls or Neo?
And I would answer that it's probably still somewhere in the middle.
That's what I would answer too.
Of those two.
It's probably not going to be as challenging and as frustrating as Dark Souls.
Right.
But it's probably not going to be as not that Neo is light, but it's probably not going to be as light. I think it's a really cool idea to introduce aspects of Dark Souls into now this futuristic, technologically advanced world. I think that's really cool. I think it's real simple.
Right.
And apparently this game's reviewing pretty well. Mm-hmm. For to pretty much come out of nowhere. So that would be my answer to Garrett.
You're not going to... I don't think you're going to pick this up and say, wow, this feels just like a From Software game, or this feels just like a Team Ninja game. I think it's its own thing, but I think it lives somewhere in the middle of those two things. And for a game that did not have much hype coming out, it is reviewing very well. So.
Yeah. So I say from what I've seen so far, if you enjoyed Dark Souls.
So Garrett does not like Dark Souls, but he did like Neo.
Eesh.
Yeah. So.
Garrett, I feel like.
Proceed with caution.
Yeah, I feel like I would say wait for a price cut, maybe $20.
So I check Lego every now and then just to see what's in my area. And there was a copy of The Surge up on there already, trying to get $45 for it. So I assume that person did not enjoy it. But I'm interested to see. I mean, it's getting really good reviews, and a lot of the big boys are talking about this game and saying that they really like it. So,
which Dark Souls did too, but it was a very limited audience that actually was able to get over the frustrations of Dark Souls.
Yeah, Neo really caught fire. Yeah, Neo really caught fire and did really well. Mm-hmm. I think Neo's a lot easier than Dark Souls, even in the way that it lets people play with you. I think is even more helpful,
right?
And the way that you can kind of grind and level yourself up so much before moving forward, where you make that game almost easy. So I think this is somewhere in the middle, but I don't think they have quite the experience. Making
the most important thing is probably to come up with some determination on whether it's as frustrating as Dark Souls can be. And if you are the type of gamer who appreciates that frustration and fights through it, or smashes everything that could possibly break that is around you. I'm in the latter category, so I will never play Dark Souls.
Mm-hmm.
Because all of my nice thing, that would be why we couldn't have nice things, because I played Dark Souls.
I have Dark Souls, and I never played it.
Right. Because you heard about how frustrating it was, and you were like, fuck that.
I don't know what it... I mean, there's something... I don't know. There's something appealing about the world of Demon Souls, Dark Souls, all that. Whoa.
Oh, what are you doing?
It's fine. I'll tell you, I was trying to see what the Metacritic score was.
New themes are
No, I was trying to see what the Metacritic score was for the Surge, and goddamn CBS has got autoplay ads on. It just fired up. It has a 7.3 on Metacritic. Now, let me tell you another fun fact and why you should support the Surge. And Dan, I know that this will get you on board.
Oh, no.
The publisher, Focus Home Interactive, Maximum Games. And if that sounds familiar, it's because these are the guys behind Farming Simulator 2017 and all the other Farming Simulators.
Shit.
So you're going to want to support them because they making big dreams come true.
Okay. Now, we actually have another question. I'm going to move on that.
That's shitty. You just shut it down like that.
Our next question comes from Ad Hoffen Show. He says, at Gamestitch, what are your thoughts on those people that dumpster dive at GameStop/Best Buy for video game stuff to turn around and sell it back to the store? My thought on that, Hoffen Show, is that I guess I didn't realize that was a fucking thing.
What do you mean, those people?
I don't know. That's what he said.
Yeah, people dumpster dive. And
to sell back to the store, though?
Maybe to sell, maybe not necessarily back to that same store. I think dumpster diving is a lost art.
You can find some good shit.
And I think people are not doing it because...
Well, there's a stigma attached to it.
Yeah, you're dumpster diving because that's all you can get. And that's not the case. I've been dumpster diving before. My grandfather was a big dumpster diver. And my dad did some of it recreationally, and I went out with him. And
like actually like going to dumpsters and digging through them? Or is this like trash on the side of the road?
All up in a dumpster.
Huh.
Like, let me boost you in. All up in a dumpster. And you find some really cool stuff. Especially if you can get outside the right place like he's talking about here. I live next to Fort Campbell, and the dumpsters around there are full of TVs and Xboxes and stuff that people are throwing out because they're deploying and they have to go. And you can find some shit in a dumpster if you are cool with climbing in the dumpster. And everybody should be cool with climbing in a dumpster because you're never too good for that.
I was just playing. I've dumpster dived before.
Yeah. There's something that happens inside of a hot metal box full of trash that is unique to that environment.
Well, see, it's got to be the right store, though, because like if you're in an alley between where there's like a Chinese restaurant and like an electronics store, don't dig in that one.
Oh, I'd say that's the one you go for because there's no competition.
No, don't go in that one.
You put a Tyvek suit on and you hop right in because there's no one else in that one.
You and I have, okay, but I guess I see that logic.
That's your dumpster.
Not for me. It's your dumpster. Do what you want.
You clean off the sesame chicken, you scoop out the flat screen, and you go. But yeah, you're right. You should stay away from, like, don't go dumpster diving behind a Kroger. There's nothing in there you're going to want to be a part of. That is spoiled food in that thing, and you're not going to find the VCR that you're hoping to locate.
Look, actually, there's a perfect spot I can tell, and Ryan, you'll be familiar with this because we both employed in that general area at one point. But the dumpsters in that plaza were perfect.
I don't know which
one dumpster dive in.
Which one are you talking about?
Where we worked.
In
the first one. The first one.
Yeah. So that was a good location. There's nothing gross in that dumpster.
No, but there was other stores that had like cool stuff that you could pick up.
Right.
Remember we had the cell phone store next door?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Hopkinsville.
There wasn't a cell phone store there.
Yeah, there was.
There was a loan place.
On the other side of that.
Oh, at the very end.
Yeah.
And their Army Recruiter would throw out like really cool posters.
Yes.
Yeah. There was nothing gross ever in that. Now, when I moved to the next store we shared a dumpster with Chick-fil-A. That dumpster, far less cool to dumpster dive in.
Yep.
It was beside their grease pit, and then they would also throw their old food in there, and it got real fucking gross around July.
Real gross.
It smelled like Chick-fil-A's butthole around July. So, I'm totally for dumpster diving. I would say be careful, be aware of whose property you're on, and be safe about it. But I'm for dumpster diving. I'm pro dumpster diving. And if you dumpster dive to get something out to resell it, I'm fine with that too. That's no different than going and finding a good deal at a yard sale or cleaning off somebody's property for the metal or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, once you've picked it up out of the dumpster, it's yours to do what you want with.
You should get permission to dumpster dive, and no one's going to give you that.
Right.
But as a PSA, I want to say that you shouldn't dumpster dive without permission, because it's still somebody's property.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. It's been a good podcast. It's been girthy, full of news. We rolled through that kind of quick because there's stuff we want to talk about, but maybe not a lot. You know, there's not a lot of substance there, but we wanted to get it out there. I really thought you'd be more excited about the watermelon controllers on the Joy-Con on the Switch.
No, you didn't.
It's a good looking setup.
You
bright green and bright pink.
You didn't honestly think that, though. You can't have honestly thought that, because that would mean you don't know me at all.
Deep down, I know that you want to switch, but you're torn between, is it time to spend money and do you want to give us the satisfaction?
No, I'm not torn.
You're torn between those two things.
I don't want to. That money is not worth the value that I feel I get out of spending it.
And you, I can tell that you'd like to have one.
Yeah, how by the little text I sent this week to fuck with you?
Because you're sitting around thinking about the Switch. That's the whole point. We weren't talking about the Switch. We weren't talking about the Switch. You said I got a Switch out of nowhere. We were talking about something totally different. This is a lie for everybody that was listening, but he said I got a Switch, which meant that he was sitting around thinking about the Switch. And I appreciate that. That seed's been planted by Nintendo. Now it's growing in your mind. It's growing little Switch babies in there. And one day it's going to bust out and you're going to drop $300. Have a Switch. Maybe go crazy, get a Switch and VR in the same day. Get a Switch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I probably won't.
2 Move controllers.
Maybe I'll get the Switch VR. How's that sound?
Yeah, you'll get the Switch, a game. Then you'll get PSVR, 2 Move controllers, and a game. So you'll spend about $1,000. But think of all the joy. If you had to buy one or the other, which one would you get?
VR or a Switch?
Yeah.
I would get the Switch.
Would you?
Yeah, there's more longevity out of that. Plus, it's cheaper.
Well, yeah, it is cheaper. and the after is cheaper, too.
Right.
Nintendo does nickel and dime you with accessories, but man, VR, you got to have games to play it.
Right.
You got to have 2 of those PS dildos to play with it. Now, if you're like me and you hold on to everything, you just grab those out of the closet and it was no big deal. But if you're not and you have to go buy those, that's another purchase.
Yes.
So, I don't know. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at Podcast Ryan. Dan is at Shirtless Dan. Matt is at Goddammit Matt. And all together, we are at Game_Stitch. And you should follow us because sometimes we tweet. And especially this week coming up, because you're going to want to pay attention to Dan's stream and to Gamestitch Live on Wednesday and Thursday. So that should be a lot of fun. Remember, you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Gamestitch if you want to. At the very least, we would appreciate you guys rating us on iTunes because that helps other people find this podcast. This sweetness that we pump into your ear holes every week.
Ooh.
And if that's even too much work for us, you can just tell your friends about us. That's the bottom tier of support, is where you just like, hey, I listen to this, and they're like, okay.
And in some ways, our favorite.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites because I don't rate a lot of podcasts, but what I do is tell people about a lot of podcasts.
Right.
Even people who don't listen to podcasts, those seem to be my favorite to tell about a podcast.
Well, because I'm like, they look at you like you got dick growing out of your forehead.
A little bit, but it doesn't mess with my excitement. I'm like, you got to hear this podcast. It's awesome. It's about this, this, and this, and this, and this. And they're like, what's a podcast?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's like a radio show, but fuck that. It's so much better. You can listen whenever you want, and it's great, and you should go hear it. And they're like,
The worst way you can explain a podcast is like a radio show, because
that's what it's like.
It is what it's like, but
people like the radio, though.
People are they've been told to like the radio, so they listen to it.
Podcasting is still relatively
in its infancy.
Yeah, and I don't know where it goes from here, but the amount of people that listen, I mean, there are too many podcasts for the amount of people that listen right now.
Right.
And I'm interested to see what happens when those numbers flip-flop a little more.
As far as more people start listening?
Yeah, when you have more people listening than good content exists.
Gotcha.
What happens to podcasts and how many big... there's already a lot of celebrities in podcasts, but, CBS isn't pumping out podcasts, and ABC is not pumping out podcasts. And
right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens when those big companies sit back and think, like, maybe we should be in podcasts. And I guess what I said is not totally true, because on sports, they are. There are Fox Sports podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
ESPN does podcasts. Some of those big players are involved, but, they're... CBS isn't going out and saying, hey, Big Bang, you guys are going to do a podcast every week. Right. But how long until that starts being part of the contracts and part of their obligations? And
yeah, I don't know.
Is it good when that happens? And that's why PodCon should exist. That's why people should tell their friends about podcasts, because it'll be interesting to see what the future of podcasts, what the future of podcasting is. It's a PSA.
Yes, it was.
Don't podcast alone, folks.
Never.
Tell someone. It's not safe to be podcasting alone.
Say no to strangers.
I say yes to strangers.
See what I did there? I mixed up two of them. I did that on purpose, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know if it works, though. My headphones are hurting my ears today. Maybe my ears are swollen. I don't normally have this problem.
Maybe your head got fatter.
Yeah, but they're adjustable, though. It shouldn't be causing the problem. It's just here.
Maybe your head's expanded beyond the adjust.
Look at these bitches; are all the way down. They could only go bigger. This is for fathead, but then they don't stay on. So I keep them all the way tight, but they're hurting my ear today. Just my left ear. Maybe I'm getting some sort of infection in that ear.
Maybe
I'll have to miss 2 weeks of work.
Ooh.
So I can play some Farming Simulator and Little Nightmares.
All right, this has
Disgaea,
been episode 220. What?
Zelda.
7.
Deformers. Lego Worlds. Mad Max. I got so many rap games.
Good night.
It's time. Why are you trying to end this? I'm still talking about the gyms I have.
I know what you're doing.
You're like Matt. If you don't like it, you got to shit on it. You two are the same now.
Not always.
I'm on a podcast with 2 hipsters. This has been episode 227 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. Good night.
I'm not a hipster. Good night.
Yeah, you are.